Greetings. This is Paul the Poke from paulthepoke.com. This is also Paul Lear with valortube.com. We got some breaking news coming out of the city of Luhansk in what is, that's probably up for debate. Some would say Eastern Ukraine. They also claim to be a group of separatists and have claimed their independence. The Luhansk People's Republic, LPR. You may also see some stuff in the literature, the DPR, Donetsk People's Republic, the DPR. These two regions are looking to break away from Ukraine. They've been voted as independent countries by the Duma, just pending Putin's signature. Now, they may also get annexed by Russia, too. Who knows? But at any rate, we got some breaking news coming out of Luhansk. There has been a pipeline explosion. And it's a big deal for this reason right here. And this is from S&P Global. And this just looks at the flow of Russian oil and gas. And so in the pink, we have oil pipelines. And in the blue, we have gas pipelines. And if you follow my cursor, we're talking about this region right here in eastern Ukraine, where the suspected explosion fire has taken place outside of Luhansk. And it's also been reported that it was the Druzhba pipeline. I've seen conflicting reports of that this may be a branch of what is the greater Druzhba pipeline. Some people say it's not, don't know. What I did find interesting, though, Druzhba also is known as the Friendship Pipeline. So the Friendship Pipeline has cut off gas supplies to Germany. And this is Russian oil and gas. This is the pipeline network that provides gas and oil to Europe. And it becomes pretty obvious why it's a big deal to Putin, to the Russians, in regards to oil and gas flow, because a lot of the pipelines go through what is the modern day Ukraine. So we're going to take a look at this from two standpoints, really from one standpoint tonight. We're just going to take a look at how the Russian press is covering this. And Russian press outlets are all over this stuff. And that was one of the things in discussions with Checkmate at ValorTube. Talking about whenever you see the Russian press united and putting out a consistent story with talking points, and they're all saying the same thing, it's time to watch out. Well, this is definitely going on. And this will give you a flavor of how this is being covered in the Russian press. And this is from Sputnik. Twitter will tell you it's a Russia state-affiliated media. Sputnik is a global wire radio and digital news service. We exist to tell stories that aren't being told. Okay. And this is as of about 40 minutes ago. 25,000 residents of the self-proclaimed LPR, that'd be the Luhansk People's Republic, have already crossed the border with Russia. Emergencies Ministry says, and they're setting up mobile stations deployed at the border checkpoint on the side of the self-proclaimed DPR. So you have the Luhansk People's Republic and the Donetsk People's Republic. People are being evacuated to get out of the way. Children from the Donbass region crossing the border into Russia. I mean, they've got the spin going. This is for the protection of the children because Ukraine has been doing nasty, naughty things to these separatists out there in the east of Ukraine. And so Russia's got to swoop in and make sure these kids are safe. This is a feed from RIA, which is also another Russian news source. So it's a coordinated effort by the Russian press. And again, we covered the mobile station. Now coming out of Moscow, Russia not seeking war, interested in the peaceful settlement of the Ukrainian conflict, always called for implementing Minsk agreements. And that's a senior lawmaker. And mind you, heavy blast heard in Luhansk, Sputnik, according to a correspondent. OSCE mission says registered 870 ceasefire violations in the past 24 hours. Russia is very concerned. Civilians in Donbass enduring risks. Shelling should stop, and it's Ukrainians who are doing this. Ukrainian military. Here got some video of the blast. We'd pull that up. Fire at gas pipeline in self-proclaimed Luhansk almost extinguished. It was extinguished. We'll skip Joe. Here's the blast from a distance. Again, outside of Luhansk. But you can see the spin, and this is all being spun. DPR Donetsk planning to evacuate 500 to 700,000 residents amid attacks by Ukrainian army. So they're setting the stage, and a lot of people think this is a false flag operation that's taking place by the Russians to gin up support or gin up the cause to go get Ukraine, to get them to stop this stuff. So there's your Russian angle. Now, this is out of the Daily Mail, out of England. And here's an in-depth look at the map. Again, you have Russia over here in the east. You have Ukraine to the west. Here's Luhansk. And here's Donetsk. DPR, LPR. Give you an idea. And this is where 2 gas explosions were reported as part of a gas pipeline. Yesterday, shell crashed into a kindergarten. Car bomb exploded late Friday near the headquarters of the pro-Russian Donetsk People's Republic. So lots of things are taking place, and a lot of times, who knows what's behind it? Kyiv, the government in Ukraine says, "Hey, we have nothing to do with this," but Russia's saying, "Oh yeah, we got to protect these people. They're helpless. They're defenseless. They're just a small group of separatists. They just want some independence from Ukraine." This is the headline from dailymail.co.uk. Massive explosions ripped through Russian separatist city of Luhansk in eastern Ukraine, hours after a car bomb and mass evacuation of 700,000 civilians. Now, Biden's saying Putin will invade in days. Well, Biden's been saying that now for several days. And this is pretty much just the highlights of the story. If you guys want to take a real good deep dive into this and get into the nuts and bolts of this is an excellent article. Kyiv categorically denied such plans, raising fears it is a Russian disinformation plot to justify an invasion. That's the spin coming out of the capital in Ukraine, in Kyiv. I'm going to scroll down. I mean, if you want to get into the optics of it and the pictures, Daily Mail does an excellent job. They've got some video. That's the car explosion in Donetsk. Got video of it. There's the aftermath. Explosion of the pipeline. More aftermath of the car explosion. We talked about that briefly. Again, evacuating the kids and the civilians. Protect the civilians and the kids from the Ukrainian army as the spin. And I want to scroll down. There were a couple more of these. There are the 2 leaders. Donetsk. I just can't say it. On the left. And this guy on the right. Leonid. I can say Leonid. Leonid P. He's leadering of neighboring Luhansk. And this is Denis Pushilin. Okay. Putin was hanging out with Lukashenko of Belarus. They had a little meeting. And this is bizarre. This comes out of the Ministry of Defense of England. possible Russian strategies, what they could do if they were to invade Russia. And then there's more speculation. So they got, and this is a Daily Mail thing, cyber attacks and sabotage attacks on key infrastructure. Well, we've already seen some of that take place. They're starting to think, imagine that it came from the Russians. Option 2, attack from Belarus towards Kyiv, surround it, and initiate a siege in the hope of toppling Zelensky and installing a Russian-friendly puppet regime. Option 3, an amphibious assault from Crimea towards Odessa, aimed at cutting off key trading hubs and splitting Ukrainian forces. Now, this would be a big deal from an economic standpoint, and I've read some other articles where there is some concern if this were to be the tact. This could cause a pretty good spike in food inflation across the region just because of all the grain that is exported from the Ukraine. Ukraine is known as the breadbasket of Europe, and this would cut that off effectively, which would have people rely more on grain exports from, guess who, Russia. Option 4, land assault from the southeast, and this is close to where these separatists are. Land bridge allowing Russian forces to reinforce the peninsula. And I think some of that's going on already. Because you look down here in the bottom in the southeast, it says potential reinforcements from permanent units in the southern military district. Well, I reported on this last night. Russia was showing video of train loads of military equipment going from Crimea, from the peninsula, back to the southern military district. Well, they're just shuffling stuff back and forth. And they've got that as a stopgap. So, that's a bit disingenuous to say they're withdrawing troops. All they got to do is just move them right back in, and they've got, effectively a bridge, and they reinforce it. And option 5, blitzkrieg assault from the eastern regions towards the Dnieper River, attacking key targets, major cities, power plants, military bases. I don't know so much about power plants. Stands to reason, and if you're concerned about oil and gas flow, like as we observed back here, you're not going to want to mess with the infrastructure related to energy. You're going to want to keep that intact because that's resources that's going to allow Putin and Russia to continue to make money. Why would you tear up the stuff for, the stuff that's going to print you money? That makes no sense to me, but there may be a few things that get sacrificed, but at any rate, that's what's going on this evening. This has all happened within the last couple of hours. Imagine that happened late on a Friday, over the weekend. Rest of the world's on weekend, and who knows what's going to happen, but we will be watching. Appreciate you guys following along. Take care. Have a good weekend. Bye.